We're back with Alden Chodash of AldenBoxing.com. This past Saturday, Alden, on HBO, Boxing After Dark, Carlos Quintana, a big upset win over Paul Williams. Why do you think Quintana won?
It's not really what Quintana did. He fought his own fight. It was really what Williams didn't do. He wasn't really passionate in the rounds that he needed to win decisively, or needed to stop Quintana in order to retain his title. He didn't show that kind of hunger, and basically Williams' defense is really what's held him up from beating Quintana, and will probably hold him up against the other elite welterweights if he gets chances to fight them after this unimpressive performance. He may have done enough to get the nod, but I think I probably would have been inclined to give the nod to Quintana. He landed the more effective, cleaner punches, and he showed excellent conditioning. He moved around the ring for 12 rounds against an imposing, stalking 6'1" figure who throws a tremendous amount of punches. And about Williams' work rate, it's nearly halved in this fight. Tribute to Quintana, who made Williams fight his fight and severely limited his punch rate.
It's strictly the movement side to side that diminished Paul Williams' work rate. I mean, is that the way you beat the big guy?
Yeah, definitely. Williams' defense is very not very prone to Quintana's arsenal, and plus Quintana's lateral movement was really slowing down Williams' work rate. He couldn't find a target, and therefore he didn't open up.
So Williams can beat a Margarito because he stands in front of him, but he won't beat a guy that's shifting side to side.
Yeah, Williams, obviously, he doesn't punch when he doesn't see a target, but no one does. Quintana fought a perfect fight, and he's definitely reminded us that he is one of the better welterweights, as he did after his shocking victory over Joao Julio. He's one of the better welterweights. No, he's not going to beat Cotto again, but he can beat a couple welterweights. Elite ones.
Do you feel Paul Williams mentally will bounce back from this fight?
I think he should, but I think he is shown up severely in this fight. He's no longer the guy that's one of the better welterweights in the world, or one of the best welterweights in the world, based on his work rate, that can de-devil many fighters. He's a guy that's very busy, but is very vulnerable to punches, has a weak defense. That's what he's going to be known as after this fight, and he's no longer unbeatable, or at least in the eyes of some guys who gave him a real shot of beating Cotto and maybe even a Floyd Mayweather.
What does Quintana do next? Do you think? I think he should step in and fight Shane Mosley instead of Zab Judah. What do you think?
It would be a much more intriguing matchup, but stock-wise, I don't think it would be much more of an intriguing matchup than Zab Judah. I mean,
or at least he's got a title to hold on.
Yeah, people like to see Zab Judah, no matter what the result of his last outing was. He could look just as unimpressive, but the fact that Judah stays in there and makes a decent showing for himself, even in his very frequent losing efforts these days, it just makes him the kind of guy that you would throw many names up against, a beatable fighter that's exciting and draws some fans.
Andre Berto was on the undercard. He crushes German fighter Michael Trabant. Do you think Berto's ready for the Kermit Citrons of the world?
It's really hard to tell after beating Michael Trabant, who really didn't show anything. But looking back at Berto's prior two fights, Cosme Rivera and David Estrada, he showed that he could overcome adversity, and he's very tough inside. And get up from a knockdown and battle way back. He's beaten good fighters. He's still undefeated. He's going to be stepped up, obviously, and I don't think, obviously, Trabant was a good gauge to his record and to himself, but Berto definitely should be rushed to the top right now.
You think he's ready for a big fight?
He's definitely ready right now.
Okay. Coming up this weekend, ESPN on Friday, Delvey Rodriguez versus Troy Browning. I know you saw Troy Browning's last effort in person, but Delvey Rodriguez, what do you know about him?
He's a vulnerable fighter, but he's very exciting to watch, and he's not very active for a young fighter. He's been beaten before. He's no longer undefeated, but he's young and he's steadily improving. He's ESPN 2 favorite, and he's fun to watch. He's hit the deck before and got up to win. good puncher, and obviously he's fun to watch. And Troy Browning's the kind of guy that could limit that severely. He's a spoiler, obviously. He's an older guy. He knows a lot of tricks. And I don't think he's going to make Delvin Rodriguez look very good.
Okay. And so you're
If
saying
not
Troy has a shot of beating him now?
Definitely.
Okay.
He's a slick southpaw. And Delvin Rodriguez, I don't think he's seen someone this slick before, but Troy Rodriguez is definitely no world beater.
Troy Browning? Yeah.
Troy Browning, excuse me.
Okay, on Saturday in Germany, Nikolai Valuev, Sergey Lyakhovich. Who do you like? Briefly, who do you like in that fight?
Probably Nikolai Valuev over Sergey Lyakhovich. I don't really have much to say about them. They're two really C-average heavyweights and very slow and sloppy. Probably the height's just going to make the difference, as it usually does against other C-class heavyweights that Valuev goes up against.
You don't think Valuev is beating anybody good in his future?
He's on his way to the WBA heavyweight title. I don't doubt that he may do it again against a lesser heavyweight champion if that opportunity comes up. He's got the height to just do enough to win these minor heavyweight titles, or not a major one if the right opponent comes by, but he's definitely not beating any of the elite fighters.
Okay. Taylor Pavlik 2 coming up on Saturday, HBO. You think the weight, the catch weight of 166 is going to matter? Does it favor Pavlik? Does it favor Taylor?
I don't really think it favors either fighter. Both have stated that they have trouble making the weight, and if it comes down to that, I think the only advantage goes to Pavlik, that he's definitely looks more natural at 166. He's taller than Taylor, bigger reach, and he probably would look stronger at that weight. Not to say Taylor didn't have trouble making the weight, but I think Pavlik's more physical at that weight. So, all in all, I don't think the catch weight of 166 will make much of a difference. I think Pavlik is just superior to Jermaine Taylor and will beat him again.
Do you think Taylor can turn the tables? I think you said no in the past.
I don't think so.
Do you think it's going the distance?
It possibly can. I think Taylor will be more expectant to what Pavlik has to Pavlik going to throw in his direction, but Taylor may pay a heavy price in going the distance, but the most likely outcome is that Pavlik's going to stop him again. Pavlik's a monster puncher, and at one point in the fight, Taylor's going to look away, or Pavlik said in the countdown, and Pavlik's just going to finish him.
Okay, and on the undercard on HBO, it's Superfly's Christian Maharas facing Jose Navarro. Who do you like?
I'd probably say Christian Maharas. Jose Navarro is a good flyweight, very good flyweight. Has shown in the past that he just doesn't have what it takes. What it takes to become a flyweight champion. However, he's an Olympian. He's a young fighter. He just hasn't progressed enough to take that extra step. And Christian Maharas is a very good fighter. As he's shown against RSA, he's a very solid fighter, very consistent. And I'd like to see more of him against better opposition. It's just unfortunate that such a good fighter has to box in a division that just doesn't have enough of these high stock and fighters that would together make a good fight,
right.
Good lucrative fight
right.
for the fans.
Okay, we just got a minute remaining. Fernando Montiel's also on the card. He faces Martin Castillo. Which side do you like?
Probably I'd take Fernando Montiel. He's a very superior boxer to the majority of fighters he goes up against, and Martin Castillo is a fighter very prone to good boxers. He's a typical rush-forward fighter that takes a lot of punches.
So he's prone to getting beat up by a good fighter.
Yeah, Montiel is a very good ring general, especially, and he's got a little bit of a pop behind his punches, and Fernando Montiel, I think, is going to outbox him easily.
Okay, and finally, you were watching some footage of Meldrick Taylor, Julio Cesar Chavez, won. They did fight twice, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah, one. And on one, what is obviously the stoppage, everybody remembers that, but what do you take from that fight? What surprised you the most?
It definitely surprised me that one thing that really made the difference in the end, that Taylor was fighting the last round in desperation, like he needed to knock out Julio Cesar Chavez, and you're looking at Julio Cesar Chavez on his toes, probably fighting the last round the way Taylor should have been fighting the last round, but ironically, it did the trick for him as he stopped Taylor with seconds remaining. I criticize and I don't criticize the stoppage. Yet Taylor took a lot of punches. He was totally beaten up, and a round before, I don't think there'd be any question in Steele's decision if he would have stopped the fight maybe a round before or a minute before the stoppage took place. But I think Taylor did enough, showed enough to Steele, and he earned to. I think he earned the right to go 12 rounds, though. However.